Every year of my public school career, from 3rd to 12th grade, I had to take Virginia SOL tests. For those of you that did not have this wonderful opportunity, SOLs, or Standards of Learning, are a yearly grade and subject-specific standardized tests based on a set statewide curriculum that Virginia public schoolers are required to take in order to ensure that every student in the state is learning the same course material. Virginia is one of 11 states in the U.S. that uses standardized testing to assess statewide performance of students and teachers. Standardized testing is a highly controversial topic in education today. Many people find that standardized tests are necessary to check up on student and teacher performance, but others argue that standardized tests are unfair and unnecessary since they focus on specific learning and assessment styles that might not align with individual learning styles. Standardized testing began becoming popularized in the early 20th century. The SATs became a popular way for colleges to gauge student aptitude in the 1920s, while the Virginia Standards of Learning tests began in the mid-1990s. These tests are often required for entrance into college or to ensure mastery of course material. When studying the effects of standardized testing, sociology matters because it helps people understand the impacts that this testing has on society. Schools are formal organizations that must remain uniform in order to succeed. Schools are viewed as formal organizations because of their scale. Richard Schaefer mentions on page 242 that, quote, "The nation has about 15 million high school students today compared to 10 million in 1961 and 5 million in 1931, end quote. Schaefer also states that teachers are viewed as both employees and instructors. This concept ensures that standards of learning are followed, and the standardized tests assess the teacher's cooperation in teaching these standards. Sociology matters to this concept because education is an important part of society, and many people believe that standardized tests are the only way to make certain that students are learning what they need to learn. Standardized testing unfairly impacts minorities. In a study that examines the impact of mandated standardized testing on curriculum and instruction in mathematics and science for minority students, Richard Lomax and his co-authors found that, quote, "Minority students in such classes are receiving less quality instruction in these content areas and fail to meet recommended standards," end quote. Minority students have less opportunities to succeed when standardized testing is the norm. Since these tests are directed at the average student, the tests are usually offered in English, which might be a second language for minority students. Sociology matters to this concept because it shows that standardized testing hurts minority students more than it helps them. Standardized testing can discourage students that are not successful and lead to dropouts, unemployment, and poverty. In my schooling, I was impacted by the No Child Left Behind Act from 2005 to 2009, the Race to the Top initiative from 2009 to 2015, and the Every Child Succeeds Act from 2015 to 2017. Yet despite all of these governmental attempts to keep students in schools, people in my graduating class still dropped out. The pressure that school systems put on standardized test scores leads students to believe that their test scores are the only thing that matters about their education. Sociology matters because it proves that education based on standardized tests leads to overtested and discouraged generations. What positive impacts might standardized testing have? I chose this question because I discussed the negative effects of standardized testing, and I would like to know if any of you have been positively impacted by standardized testing. I know some people that receive scholarships from high SAT and ACT scores. and people that have skipped grades because of high SOL scores. Sociology matters when studying standardized testing because it allows people to understand the impacts of standardized testing on different aspects of the community. We saw how it affects schools as institutions, minority students, and the current generation as a whole. A question I will leave you with is, what would we miss out on if we took standardized tests away, besides the obvious idea that we would not know if students are learning? Thank you.